Hello, and welcome in. He's CJ. I'm JPJ. We are here once again for a new episode of The Swarm. It is our sports episode that we are here for today, and then you will see us a little bit later this week for our pro wrestling, which we'll have a lot to talk about when it comes to the pro wrestling side of things. But thank you for tuning in. If you are not already subscribed to the Hive Media, please follow us at the Hive_media on every single social media platform there is. You can find us. We have things happening almost every day, every night on the Hive. We got the buzz Monday through Thursday. You get us 2 times a week. We have a Substack where Bryn and Peggy are writing good stuff, and I think they're going to be joined by some others coming soon with some more writing things of that nature. Josh is streaming video games 4 or 5 times a week. We have the watch along for Raw every Monday night with me and Josh. Me and Josh got together for the watch along for Money in the Bank this past weekend, which we'll talk about on the wrestling episode. But we got a ton of stuff. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But we have a ton of stuff going on every day here at the Hive. I don't know if you knew this. I know you do because we talked about it in the group thread. But me and Josh both made Naomi's and Nikki Bella's Instagram stories.
We did. We're famous now. So
we are. I think we did it. I can quit my job tomorrow, and I think we're good.
I've just put in my 2 weeks today, actually.
We're good. I think we're good. We made it. A lot of people saw it. Bless. That's just what we're going to do. But if you're not watching with our watch-alongs, it's a good time. It's a good time. So if you watch Raw every Monday, come and hang out with Josh and I. Every WWE and AEW PLEs, basically from here on out, there'll be some form of us here at the Hive doing watch-alongs and all that fun
There's
stuff.
one almost every weekend these days with us.
That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. So, so if you're on the pro wrestling side of things, we're always here. We're always here. We're always around. We're always having a good time. So come give us a follow, hit that thumbs up, hit the bell for notifications. So whenever we do have something dropping, you are informed, you get the notice so you can hang out. And we will appreciate and love you greatly. So
and please. When sports start, when football season stuff, we will do watch-alongs most Sundays if we're both
available. Yes, if we are available, most Sundays we will do watch-alongs. Obviously, CJ and I support the greatest franchise in the history of the NFL,
right?
The New England Patriots. So it'll probably be those Patriot games that we are watching along to, hopefully not losing our minds.
But if it's a Sunday afternoon game, we'll have, reactions to whatever's going on.
100%. Well. Yeah. Any big news that drops, whether it's both of us together or maybe even one of us, if the other one's not available, any massive news that drops in all of sports and even in pro wrestling for that matter, if we are available, we'll hop on live. We'll hop on live and we'll do a little quick hitter and all stuff like that.
NBA trade rumors heating up these days as well.
Yep. So, we got a bunch of stuff going on. So, but we are here to talk pro sports today. We're going to be talking about a little bit of stuff. We got the NBA Finals are through 2 games. The NHL Stanley Cup Finals are through 2 games. 2 all-time games.
Unbelievable.
And the Stanley Cup Finals. Like 2 all-time. That series is shaping up that it could be an all-timer. It could be an all-time.
One of our franchise's all-time great players having a big impact in that series.
Oh, sure did. Had the game-winning goal in Game 2 in overtime. Scored 2 goals in that game. Scored a goal in the first game as well. He is, if he was not on the Panthers, I would be rooting for Edmonton.
I rooted to get one.
Yeah, I rooted for Edmonton last year in this matchup.
Me too.
I do think Edmonton is gonna pull this one out because I think it's McDavid's time. However, I can't nor will I ever root against Brad Marchand.
Never.
I cannot.
Nope.
And he fits that team like a glove, man. He's a rat. He's a rat like the rest of them. Like the rest of them.
He's our rat.
Yeah, he's our rat. But he fits that team very well because that's a team full of thugs and rats, and that he just fits that vibe. And he's performing better than I even thought he would.
I think it's because there's a lot of pressure off him. He's down on the second and third lines most of the time. He's off their main power play unit, stuff like that. So
yeah, that's probably it. Because and I think he would be the first one to tell you, and I think he kind of has when he was asked about it. Not a good captain for the Bruins. Just wasn't the best captain. When you go from someone like a Patrice Bergeron, who's
Chara before that.
Yeah, you're talking Chara to Patrice Bergeron, and then you get Marchand, who's a great player, and he definitely grew up a lot in his career.
Right.
However, Marchand's the type of guy that if you're bothering him, he's going to tell you where to go, and he's going to get in your face, and he's going to challenge you, and not, I don't want to make generalizations, but I think you can see it throughout all of sports. The younger athlete, not all.
Yep, sure.
I don't want to make generalizations, even though I will because I'm old. But the younger athlete doesn't really jive or put up with the old school way sometimes of how things go.
They like to be more coddled.
A little bit. And again, we could probably have a whole podcast on that type of stuff, but I know we're going to talk about the Red Sox later. We're kind of seeing that going on with their star player and like the eggshells that everyone seems to be walking on, including it's just like, and maybe it's because I work in retail, I work with younger people, so I've been kind of prone to it, and like kind of even in that realm of things, the way that I used to be able, and again, I'm pretty laid back and chill. I don't really get angry or upset about anything, but the way I used to be able to talk to your average employee, even 5, 6, 7 years ago, is not the way that I can talk to your average employee nowadays. You know what I mean? It has to be it has to be more delicate. It has to be more,
It's not just in sports, like you said.
No, it's life. It's a life thing. And people take that and they use it for really bullshit and negative spin or rhetoric, as you want to say. I'm not saying that, but there's just been a shift when it comes to the younger person, and just the way they view things it's a generational thing. It happens all the time. Boomers look at millennials like me and they go, what the hell, why do you think this way? And it's like, because I'm not you.
I'm not much younger than you, but I'm older than a lot of people that are, that age group nowadays. And it's even way different than when I was a kid.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it's just one of those things. Like I definitely, like, especially working when I first started getting full-time jobs and right out of college or in my early 20s and things like that. And I'm not saying it was good or bad, but the mentality was shut up and like we're gonna be fine. Like deal with it. Everything will be fine. And there was times where that helped. And then there were times where it was like, no, this is not okay, blah, blah, blah. And now I just feel like things are a smidge different. But when it comes to athletes and things of that nature, I do think that there is a certain old guard in sports that just like you grew up in Boston, or you lived in Boston for a good chunk of your life. I'm driving home from the shoot job every day, and I got sports radio on, and I'm hearing people left and right saying, Rafi Devers this, Rafi Devers this. He should just do what's best for the team. He should shut up and just play wherever. He makes this, he makes that. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, that's just not how it works. It's just not how it goes anymore. Like,
I agree with those people, by the way.
You do. Oh, I think I'm on Team Devers here. I'm
also not a Red Sox fan.
That's true. Of all the Boston teams, you don't go that way.
Nope, only one.
So, yeah, really? So you think that he should do whatever?
He's the highest paid player on the team, and he's not the oldest player. You got Bregman and stuff now, but he's the most tenured player on the team.
That's fair. Listen, here's my thing. Okay, when it comes to Devers.
Let's start with the Red Sox. Why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, we talked very briefly about the NA, but yeah. All right. So when we talk about the Red Sox, had a great weekend. Won 2 out of 3 from the Yanks.
Thank you for that. Second place Blue Jays.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. 2 out of 3 from the Yanks. Started hitting the ball a little bit. If only, they had the best prospect in all of baseball that could just be inserted into the lineup any day.
Surely they don't have him on
the roster. Hitting 500-foot grand slams and shit in the minor leagues and just fucking chilling.
It looks like if I played Little League now.
That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
They show these highlights, and I'm like, that's a grown-ass man playing T-ball. That is a grown-ass man playing T-ball. That's what it looks like. Why is he not up here? Imagine just inserting that 5th, 6th, or 7th in the lineup. I think we'd be okay. I think things would
also just give him, never mind he projects obviously to be one of the best players in baseball, 3-5 years from now. But it would just, I mean, this is a bad weekend to bring it up because they had a good weekend, surprisingly, but like a jolt of energy that the team desperately fucking needs at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. And I look at it from both ways too. I'm like, if I'm Roman Anthony and I've seen Christian Campbell, if I've seen Christian Campbell start the year on the major league team, I see Marcelo Mayer get called up a month ago or 3 weeks ago. And I know injuries affected it, but still. So now this four-headed monster that we had with Roman Anthony, Kyle Teal, Marcelo Mayer, and Christian Campbell, I see Kyle Teal get traded for Crochet. But guess what? Last week, Kyle Teal got called up to the majors.
I think he had 2 hits in his debut.
He sure did. So now he's playing in the major leagues in Chicago.
Terrible.
Christian Campbell's been playing in the major leagues since opening day this year. Marcelo Mayer is now playing in the major leagues for the last 3 weeks, almost a month, and you're the best one of all of them.
No, those are great players, by the way, but by far the best player.
Like, Anthony is by far the most elite of those 4, and he must be sitting there, like, obviously, and maybe it's just because that's the way that I think, but a part of me would be like, I would be pissed off.
Yeah, I'd be like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
No offense.
I would be pissed off. How would again, like, I want to be playing with all these guys.
He can help them too.
100%. And I saw, so last night they had the ESPN game, right? Yep. And they were talking about Roman Anthony a lot, even after the game, because Christian Campbell, who was on a slump and a half, had a good weekend. He had a good weekend. Hopefully that will get him back on track. But they interviewed Christian Campbell after the game because he had like 3 hits and a homer and stuff last night. He had a big game. And 3 of the 4 questions they asked him had to do with Roman Anthony. And I'm sitting there going, that's not fair to him either. That he needs to answer about when there's no reason besides you don't want Roman Anthony to win the Rookie of the Year or finish second, because if he does, you lose a year of eligibility that you can have. So it's all a money play.
Yep. By one of the biggest payrolls in the sport, by the way.
100%.
If this was, you know what? Someone had a great point. I think it was on Boston Radio. It might have been Maz or Felger, one of them. The Royals, which is a team that should be worried about money, should be worried about the 6th year of eligibility, all those Rookie of the Year. They called up their top prospect, Jack Caglione.
Jack
Caglione.
Yeah.
That's a team that should be worried about this, not the Red Sox, but the 3rd biggest team in the sport payroll-wise.
If you look around Major League Baseball, all the top prospects have been called up already this year. Roman Anthony is legitimately the number 1 prospect in all of, not just the Red Sox farm system, in all of baseball, in all of it.
And has been for almost a year.
He's been for over a year. He's been the top prospect in all of baseball, and he's really the only one that is still in the minor leagues.
And it's not like he's hurt or shitting himself in the minor leagues.
He's dominating, actually.
Yes, correct.
It's like, what are we doing? Like, we're talking now, like you and I, this is going to come out tomorrow for us, but we are recording this right now on June 9th. June 9th.
And and it's end of day pretty much for business days. He's not getting called up today for today's game. So
it's like, what are we exactly waiting for? You just had a good weekend. You're 2 out of 3. You're still 3 games under 500, but like
stinks.
The American League is awful this year.
Yes.
Like, very bad. So even the Red Sox being 3 games under 500, if you get hot here for a month, you're right in it.
2 weeks.
You're right in it. Yeah, 2 weeks, you're hot. You're in the wild card, man.
The Blue Jays, we won 8 out of 10, and we're the 3rd best record in the.
Yeah, like, it's still there for the taking, and I don't know. I'm getting a vibe where I'm just like, I don't know. And again, I've been a fan of this team my whole life. I don't know what's more important to the owners. Actually, they tell us that winning is. That's what they tell us.
Hard to believe.
But is winning or is saving money more important?
You know what? I have a different perspective on this. 1, I'm not a Red Sox fan, but 2, I'm a big soccer, which we'll touch on a little bit later.
Yes, we
Portugal. Is probably my favorite sport overall. Because I'm growing up in an all Portuguese household, it's almost like a law. You will get kicked out of the family if you don't watch it. They own Liverpool as well.
They do. And they own the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they own a NASCAR team. Are the Red Sox just part of the portfolio?
They just bought a 2nd league Spanish club in soccer as well.
There you go. And there's rumor that when Vegas potentially gets to the NBA,
they want a team with LeBron,
him and LeBron, because LeBron's part of the group.
Once he retires. Yep.
Yes.
There's Liverpool fans fucking hate this guy, John Henry and Tom Werner. Right?
Even though they've been really successful, though they've won,
but it's not because they
Premier
drop
Leagues.
money. They don't drop money. They think they're on the level as a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, Manchester United. I'm sure you're not a big soccer fan, but you know these clubs.
No, I know. I pay attention.
They drop $100 million on players every summer.
Yeah,
Liverpool does $10 million here, $20 million player here, and then they also sell 2 or 3 players to get that money back.
Yeah.
So that's why Liverpool fans are so enthralled, really, because they won the Premier League this year.
Yes,
and it's like don't give a shit. Yeah, they won 3 years ago as well.
I was going to say like 2 out of the last 5 years.
And they won the Champions League, which is the biggest tournament of all the European teams. But then they consider that, okay, see, we just gave you a championship. Now we're going to save money next season. Now we're going to suck next season. It's the same.
So that's what they do with the Red Sox.
They do it. It's all portfolios. They don't give a shit about Liverpool, the Red Sox, the other Spanish team, the Penguins. They don't give a fuck about anything.
No, and it's just like I just sit here and I just go, man, I don't, And to me, on top of it, you got the whole Devers thing. And again, I'm team Devers here. Like, I do think at some point, which again, it's been a while now, but I do feel like at some point, if a natural way of fixing things doesn't occur, at some point, I think Devers needs to be a better teammate and say, okay, I'll go, do whatever. However, I am kind of team Devers because they lied to him. They openly lied to him all offseason. Yep. They signed him and I understand it wasn't Breslow that signed him to that contract. It was the previous guy, Hive Bloom, but still, they signed him as the third baseman to a long-term contract.
Biggest contract in team history, by the way.
Correct. And he was signed to be their third baseman. It was no secret that they were going to be hot and heavy for Alex Bregman. And Devers went to them and said, hey, and they said, nope, you're our third baseman. He's going to play second. He's going to play second. He's willing to play second. You're our third baseman. We're not taking you off third base. And then all of a sudden, they sign him, and then they go to Devers, and they go, oh, by the way, put the glove away. You're not playing third base. And Devers is pissed. And I think Devers has a right to be pissed because 100%. They lied to him. If they would have went to him right away and said, hey, man, here's the deal. We value you clearly.
Yeah.
But we're going after Bregman. Defensively, he's a better third baseman for you. If we sign Bregman, we're going to want you to DH. That's it. But if things happen, we want you to practice and learn first base just in case. And, you'll play the field occasionally or you'll just DH. And if you're whatever, but like when you blatantly go to him and you say, hey, you don't worry about it. You're our third baseman. And then he obviously has the doubts like, nah, I don't really believe you.
Yeah, right.
And then it goes down, they signed him. Bregman's going to play second base during spring training. Didn't take one
immediately away
inning at second base. He did not play one inning.
The second he showed up, it was over.
Yeah. It's just like, how is that going to make, and then I think personally, they made Alex. So, oh God, there's just layers to it. So Alex Cora, who has become incredibly unlikable this year for me. I've always been away, and I still am a pro Cora guy, but he has just been, first of all, he's having his worst in-game management year maybe since he's been with the Red Sox. And then secondly, he's just become so unlikable. It's very bizarre, but I also think it is because he knows Devers. He knows how Devers was going to react.
Yep.
And I think that the Red Sox brass basically said, hey, we need Devers to get off third base and play DH. You tell him. And Alex Cora was like, me? You're the ones making this move, like you fucking tell him.
Right.
And they saddled that with Cora, and Cora then had to deal with Devers, who was pissed and angry, and Cora got the brunt of that. And because of his relationship, he eventually got Devers to stay in line. Fine. And then all this stuff with first base happens, and everybody asks Alex Cora, hey, have you asked Devers to play first base yet? And he's like, nope, haven't asked. We're having conversations, but I haven't asked because I think Cora is like, fuck you. You want you made me do that in the spring training and I had to deal with that shit. You want this to happen again? You can tell him. I'm not doing it. You can tell him. And then I think Breslow and above are like, no, you're the manager. And again, it is his job. But I think that's where it is. Because I don't know, last night during the game, they were talking about So there was a situation where Devers hit a ground ball. It got misplayed, but he was still thrown out at first. And it looked like he kind of maybe like tweaked something or pulled, like he stopped running hard and he was kind of like gimpy a little bit. He's fine, I think, but whatever. And during the game, Eduardo Perez, who's on the Sunday night crew for ESPN, he said that turned into them talking about Devers and about him playing first base. And Eduardo Perez said, well, I think a thing that also was communication. He goes, I feel like if they would have went to Devers in the offseason with proper communication and laid everything out the way it was going to go, that he would be playing first base right now for the Boston Red Sox. And I heard that. And I said, Alex Cora told him that. I said, absolutely. That is an informed take. And that is an informed take by the manager. For him to say that, taking a shot at Breslow and above. Because Alex Cora and Breslow clearly have an issue.
Yeah, you know what? Someone put it again. I don't remember. I think it was Jared Carabas.
I love Carabas.
He's Carabas. Yeah, he loves Section 10.
So good.
And I'm not a Red Sox fan, so that's how you know it's a good show. I still watch it. It does help when they suck. To be fair, as an all Red Sox.
Yeah, they have a good.
But
the misery.
I think he was the one. It was maybe him or someone else on the show said, "This is a serious thing." In baseball, especially with the Latin players, respect is a huge thing with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
They just grow up in a different culture. They grow up, you always respect your teammates, your coaches, your managers, your GMs. Everybody always respect. Like you said, if they came at him in the beginning, said, you're going to DH, we're looking at Bregman. Bregman wants to come here. It's going to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to dabble at first base. Something happened to Casas, which obviously blew out his ACL. Then it would be on Devers if he still refused. I think everybody would agree with that. No Breslow, not Cora. It's him. He has a problem. They didn't. They blatantly lied to him all spring training, all winter. And the second Bregman comes up, they say, throw your glove in the trash and burn it. You're never playing the field again.
Yep.
But yeah,
and then a
sorry,
month later. No, sorry. I wanted. Then a month later, guess what? Injuries. Oh, we need you to go play the field again. And Devers just goes like this.
Casas and Bregman are both out now.
Yeah, and then Devers is like, "Screw you! You told me to put my glove away."
And did you see the interview he did again through a translator because he doesn't speak a ton of English? So people thought it might have got lost in translation, but it didn't. He basically wouldn't say Breslow's name. He kept saying, ask the GM, tell the GM to do his job and stuff like that. When they said, would you consider playing first base? That was his answer. Tell, not even Breslow. He said, tell the GM to do his job and find a first baseman.
Yep.
Like, if that doesn't basically confirm, fuck this guy, he disrespected me, then I really don't know what does.
Yeah. And and again, it's led to this whole situation where they've just been in this rut of they look good for 3 or 4 days, and then they look like they don't even know how to play baseball.
The next couple of games, more errors than the fucking Rockies, who have like 10 wins.
Yeah, it's just this bizarre thing. And if you look at the roster, even with the injuries, again, you have literally a guy who I think can come up and literally catapult you immediately. Like, I think, and again, I'm a homer. But I think Roman Anthony comes up and he is an immediate impactful player.
It doesn't matter, even if you're a homer and the biggest, what do they call around here, pink hat fan or whatever.
Yeah.
He's ranked the number one player. It's not Red Sox fans that rank him number one in baseball. It's just
and the dude's hitting 497-foot grand slams on Saturday night.
And it doesn't look like he's trying too hard. Either.
No. And you can tell, like, he hit that grand slam and like he had emotion, but he really
looked angry.
He looked like angry because he looked like he hit it, and he was like, "Why the fuck am I still here?"
This should be at Fenway Park against the Yankees right now. I'm doing this.
I should be doing this in Yankee Stadium right now. This is where I should. Like, why am I here? It's unbelievable.
Especially when you're still, because of how god awful the American League is. You're never out of, unless you're the White Sox. Really, every team in the league is still in playoff contention. Especially with the 3 wild cards now.
Yeah,
you are expecting Bregman to come back shortly. You, again, on paper, have top 3 to 5 roster in the league, probably. In the American League, I mean.
I would say, in the American League, I would say in the league, we have like a top dozen, top 7, top 10, top dozen at worst.
Right.
If
you were the White Sox, and the White Sox, 0% chance, they have 12 wins or something like that. No, they're fucking 30 games out of it. They're done. Still calling up their top prospect, former Red Sox prospect, and their crochet deal, obviously. But the Red Sox are a team that should be calling these players up, especially when they can help you make a playoff push. It just makes no sense.
Like, if you put Anthony in the middle of that lineup, and from now until the end of the year, if he can give you 20, 25 bombs and either plays, because last night, again, they started talking about Roman Anthony during the game, and it wasn't Eduardo Perez. It was the other guy, because I think they do a 3-man booth on Sunday nights now. It was the third guy, whoever that is. I apologize. And they were talking about him, and this was a quote, CJ. This was a quote. He goes, I think the real question when it comes to Roman Anthony is, where does he fit?
Who gives
and I fuck? Said, you make him fit.
And
you know what do you mean, where does he fit?
The Red Sox have shown they don't give a fuck about these young kids' positions. Christian Campbell has played center, second, first, third, everywhere. In
Marcelo Meyer is a shortstop.
Marcelo Meyer's playing out of position.
Yeah.
Rafaela has played, I think, every position on the field other than catcher and pitcher in his 3 years in the major leagues.
They don't care.
They don't give a fuck. Especially now, you don't have no Bregman and Casas. It's not like you're a fully healthy roster and you're trying to shove them in there.
No, it makes no sense. And like Trevor Story had a good weekend this weekend as well against the Yankees. He had a couple multi-hit games. But again, that guy was like 1 for his last 120 or some shit like that.
Legitimately one of the worst runs in MLB history.
Like, actually. It was unbelievable. Yeah. So you bring Anthony up, put him in left field, move Duran to center, move Rafaela to short or second.
Right.
That's it.
Done. See you later.
Boom. And then then there's your lineup. Devers is the DH.
Campbell back to first, maybe.
Yeah, Campbell can play first, or you want to, keep Campbell at second, Rafaela at short, whatever you want to do. I can't imagine that the team will not be better with Roman Anthony up here.
This is a comparable thing to something that's actually coming up. We'll talk about it more probably in the next couple of weeks, the NBA draft, where a team like the Hornets will say, if the best, Cooper Flag is obviously the best prospect in the draft, but say the Hornets had the first pick and the best prospect was a point guard. The Hornets are not, they're so ass, draft a point guard anyway, they have LaMelo Ball. You need talent on your team.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Red Sox. You don't need another left fielder. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Bring
him
up.
I don't care. I literally don't care. Oh, where's he going to fit? You make him fit. He's the number 1 guy in baseball who's just destroying it and has been all year.
You suck right now. You could use him. It's not you're not 50-10 and you're like, okay, you don't want to ruin it. I would get that almost, even though you should still do it. I would you have an excuse though. You don't want to rattle the cages of anybody. You've had a good couple of days, but very underachieving.
This is the type of thing where you have those 2 big wins in New York. You should be calling him up today.
Exactly.
And then that's like, oh shit, Roman's. And then it's like, our tribal chief has arrived.
The ball is rolling.
Yes. And then it's like, holy shit, now we got 2 wins. We just beat the top team in the division, our rival. Let's go. Now we're adding this guy that we've all been waiting for.
Everybody.
He's here now. Let's fucking try to make a push.
I would love the Red Sox to be ass. I would watch I would tune in to watch him play. And I don't
1,000%. 1,000%. And it's just like, dude, he's 20. He's a 21-year-old kid. Like, I get it, but like, dude, as far as I'm concerned, Anthony Campbell and Mayer should have been up here on opening day, batting 7th, 8th, and 9th, and just let him do it.
100%.
That's what should have happened. And it's just like, bruh, like, again, these are not bad. I said this last, these are not bad players.
No.
But I shouldn't have to see Romy Gonzalez, Nick Sogard, Abraham Toro. I shouldn't have to see these guys in my lineup every day. They are serviceable rotation baseball players. They are not everyday starters.
Roman Anthony has been called up.
Did that just happen?
It just happened. Willie Abreu was injured.
Oh my God, is that true? No. Did that happen in real time when we're recording this? Because I will take my shirt off.
It happened in real time.
Holy shit, is that real? No way. Did that happen?
Yep, Jeff passed in 4 minutes with the Boston Red Sox calling Roman
baby.
Anthony, best process in baseball, 21 years old, is to join the team today.
Look at this. It's like we fucking spoke it into fruition.
So let's talk about the Celtics trading Porzingis for Cooper Flag.
Wow. What a time that was. That was live as we went.
And this, everybody, proves if you bitch enough, things will happen.
Hell yeah. About time. Son of a bitch. They're off tonight, though, right?
No, I don't think so.
Are they playing? Oh, yeah, they're playing the Rays. Oh, my God. Is he playing tonight?
It might be too late, but we'll see.
I will be. They're at home in Boston, though. So Worcester to Boston's not a far drive.
That's a good point.
Oh, my. I mean, that sucks that Abreu's hurt. I like Abreu. He's a good player.
Yeah. He was probably the best hitter start to finish other than Bregman.
Oh, our tribal chief is. Yeah, put the ones up.
I'll
Put the ones up.
as well.
Oh, I know you don't like the Red Sox, but all hail our tribal
yes,
chief.
Out of respect.
Roman is here. All right. Whew. What a way to end that talk. Good stuff. Wow. Who would have thought? All right.
Well, no, take back the last 28 minutes.
No, I'm not taking back nothing. I meant every damn word of it. Watch him hit a home run tonight. I will be. I don't even know.
We will somehow get a camera on JPJ after Roman.
I will be. It could be live during the Raw watch along tonight. To be honest, by the time they see this, it'll already have happened.
If you love JPJ and want him butt naked, perhaps on stream, tune into the Hive tonight. Even if you don't want to watch Raw,
that much.
But don't want to watch Raw. You don't need to watch Raw. Just watch the live stream.
Yeah, because if it happens in real time, I'm gonna.
You might see nipples.
It will. All right. Okay, so I know we briefly touched on the NHL Finals, but they're tied 1-1. Getting back to Florida to just holy shit, man! Like playoff hockey is already tremendous. Those two games were like
we are also recording this the afternoon of Game 3. By the way,
so Game 3 is tonight. By the time you see this, it will have already happened.
Right.
But Game 3 is tonight as we record.
Right.
But Game 2. In the NBA Finals, they're already through 2 games. They are also split 1-1 going back to Indiana.
Yep.
The first game, tremendous. I didn't think the Pacers had that in them, man. Here's my thing.
Halliburton, man, Jesus.
Unbelievable, dude. And I was talking to a friend, and obviously we're diehard Celtics fans, as are you, so we're aligned here. The Pacers, and I think I said it last week on here, they're like the only other team in the East that I respect.
Correct, me as well. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everyone else,
there might be like if the fucking Hornets made a run.
Well, that's different. But like
the only relevant team,
the Sixers, fuck off.
Knicks,
like the Heat, the Knicks, you're all trying. Get out of here. I don't give a shit about any of you. But the Pacers, I respect. I respect the coach. I respect Halliburton. I respect the way they
have
play.
History too, a little bit.
Yeah. And I respect the way they play. Even though we swept them last year, they were easily the toughest team.
None of the games were a blowout.
They were easily the toughest challenge for the Celtics. Even if we would have gotten through the Knicks with a healthy Jason Tatum, I don't think we would have swept them this year in a repeat.
No, I just win.
I just respect the way they play. They're dogs. As you can, Halliburton is having. Look at Game 2 sucked for them.
Oh, it's fucking good.
That game in general sucked. That game was over from the jump.
The blowout there is not like the Thunder when they blew out the Timberwolves or the Grizzlies. It was still 10 to 15 point game for most of it. Yeah. Which shows they're not like they will not just let you. All right, we're down by 18. Let's just fucking cave in.
And that was the thing. That was the thing that happened in Game 1. In Game 1, the Thunder were up 10 to 15 points that whole game.
It was the exact same game except for the ending. Basically.
Yeah, and it was just the Thunder couldn't make that 10-point, 20-point when it's over.
Yeah.
And Indy just kept hanging around and hanging around and hanging around. And then Oklahoma City got a little tight, and Indy had been there before, and Halliburton is just a clutch dog, man. And he was like, get on my back. And it was a couple guys hit shots, and then it was, that's what happened. Last night, they were able to hang on to the lead, and they ended up winning by 18 or 15, whatever it was. And we'll kind of see how it goes in Indiana. I believe Game 3 is that tomorrow? Tuesday night? Wednesday? They're doing the 2 days.
NHL's starting to do it after this game, too. It's like game 4 is like Friday or something.
Why?
Gotta prolong it.
No, you don't. Right.
Well, they
the only time it should be 2 days before is when you're actually
traveling.
I don't mind this because they're traveling from Oklahoma to Indy. So if you want to give them the extra day, that's fine. Why did they need 2 days off in between games 1 and game 2?
No,
when
and
they
why
were in the same spot that they were.
Like
before.
I said with the NHL, Game 3 is tonight. Game 4 is until Thursday or Friday. They're fucking in Florida.
They're in Florida. Like, why do they need 2 days off? If anything, you should have had 2 days off between Game 2 and Game 3 tonight.
Exactly.
Have them go tomorrow. It makes no sense. Especially now that we know the NBA. Whatever.
That's a whole nother part. We might have to have a show, especially in the dog days of summer, where we just bitch about random things.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. But obviously, you and I thought that when we were previewing it last week, we thought the Thunder would really handle business and win in 5, which they still could. I mean, last night they clearly handled business in Game 2. That's how I thought most of the games would go in this series, and they still can.
Right.
But yeah, after game one, I texted one of my friends and I was like, do I kind of like the Pacers?
I do.
Like,
It's
what the
hard
hell?
not to like them.
Like,
yeah.
I kind of like them. I'm kind of rooting for them, oddly enough. But we'll see how it goes. Are you still sticking to your? I think we both had Thunder in
105.
5. You still sticking with that after 2 games, or do you think?
Yes,
Okay,
but I think there might have been a little bit while they and again they didn't just they lost by pretty comfortably, but they didn't just fall over and lose by 34 like we did in Game 6 against the Knicks.
yeah,
Like oh it's 20, let's just pack it up. Everybody down by 40. Who gives a fuck? We lose by 10 or 50. Which makes me a little bit nervous for my pick because there might be a little bit of Indiana in Game 2 where okay we won Game 1. All we need to do is steal one on the road as a lower
yep.
seed. That's all you need to do. We'll stick around, see if we can hit a couple threes and make it a 8-point game late like we did last game. But if not, let's go back home. We get a couple of days more rest, like we just complained about. And then we'll beat them on our home floor. So I don't know if there was some of that in them.
Mm-hmm.
But it just proved how much more talent. That doesn't mean shit. The Thunder can lose the series still, but they're so much more talented than the Pacers. It's insane.
Oh yeah, it's wild. And their defense, I know obviously
it's historically good, legitimately.
Like it is absurdly good.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. So we'll see how it goes, but I was very impressed by the Pacers with that game one. Just the way it happened, I was like, oh man. Like Halliburton's had an all-time playoffs.
Yep. And even in game one, he didn't. I think he only had 14 points or something like that. But that shows you that you're that's when you take the leap from star to superstar, in my opinion. It's like Jason Tatum in game 6 against the Sixers a few years ago. He was 2 for 19 going into the fourth quarter, and then he had 22 points in the fourth quarter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You have that mentality. I don't give a shit how I played up to this point. I'm still gonna hit the shot when my team needs it.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah.
All right. So we got to talk about it. One of my least favorite players of all time.
Oh Lord Jesus.
Just
Most
signed.
people, I would say,
just signed with my least favorite football team of all
That's
time.
That's not good.
It's good for me because I get to just hate them even more now.
It's double shit. I mean, together.
Oh yeah. But Aaron Rodgers, this fucking guy. Aaron Rodgers signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Gross. Over the weekend.
Is nasty.
Apparently, I read a report that he was really pushing, like he was like
the Vikings,
basically begging the Vikings to sign him. He wanted to, and I'm sitting here going, "Are you purposely trying to follow the Brett Favre? Like, for somebody who hates Brett Favre because he held you back for years to start, you literally went from Green Bay to the Jets, and then you were looking to go to Minnesota.
Second biggest rivals.
So I'm like, are you trying to follow in his footsteps? The guy that you hate? Like, that's the same trajectory that he did. Packers, Jets, Vikings, same thing. But no, he goes to Pittsburgh.
Which we all kind of knew was going to happen.
Yep. Here's the thing. I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. My least favorite football franchise. They're my second least favorite franchise in all of sports. I hate them. Repulsed by the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, there always has been, even though it's hateful, there's always been a underlying respect.
Absolutely.
For the Steelers because they've consistently been good my whole life.
Mike Tomlin's never had less than 8 wins.
No, he's never been under 500, which is insane. And I don't even think he's that good of a coach. But that is insane.
I think he was at one point.
He was. But this, to me, this type of move, you lose any respect that I had for you out the window.
And I don't know if Aaron Rodgers, okay, he's better than fucking Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson, who was on the roster. What does that give them? 1 extra win this season? They win 9 instead of 8, and then they'll do what they have the last 4 years where they make the playoffs as the last wild card and lose by 107 to the Chiefs or the Bills in the first round.
Yeah, I would say so. If they listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that there weren't a couple games last year where Aaron Rodgers didn't look like
he was fine. He was not prime Aaron Rodgers, though, but he was fine.
No, but
he was still a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Exactly. And there were a couple games where you watched him and you were like, ooh, that was some of the old Rodgers there.
The first game against us. The Thursday night game.
Murdered us. Yeah. That was his best game all year.
Yep.
And then there were a couple games late in the season. I forget who he played. Maybe the Panthers.
The Cardinals, I think, as well.
Yeah, there was a game late in the season where he was making some throws, and I was like, oh, shit, that looks like the old Aaron Rodgers.
This is something you have to factor in with his age, and he's also from California. The Pittsburgh outside of December and January thing. That's why the Arizona Thursday night, what was it, week 3 against us? It's still 70, 80 degrees out in New York. It's fine, or New Jersey, I guess technically. And then his best game after that was probably late in the like one of the last weeks of the season in the Dome in Arizona. I think there is something to that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And you would think, he played in Green Bay his whole career.
Yeah,
spent a couple years in New York. I know he didn't play one of them because he was injured. You would think he's used to the cold weather. So there's nothing in Pittsburgh that's going to, if you can play in Green Bay, dude, you can play in Pittsburgh.
I think it's just his age, though. That does become worse as you're older.
Yeah, your body's going to hurt and be sore and stiff a little bit more because you're an old man. Trust me. I know how that is. It's just a natural thing of going. Yeah. But do we play the Steelers this year? I know we usually do every year because we usually do almost every year because they're like a natural rival.
They do play at New York week 1 though. The Jets. They play at the Jets week 1.
What a time! He's going to throw for like 400 yards and 5 touchdowns.
They will beat the Jets 42-6.
Yeah, like he's gonna look like prime MVP Aaron Rodgers.
And that's also Justin Fields, who fucking hates the Steelers for starting Russell Wilson over him last year too.
Well,
so there's a lot going on in that game.
That was my whole thing where I was just like, that was another thing for me where I was like, do you really think Aaron Rodgers gives you like a significantly better chance than what Justin Fields gave you last year? They were a playoff team with Justin Fields. Not a piece of
garbage as well.
No, like they were a playoff team with Fields, and then they just started playing Russell Wilson, and he was Russell Wilson, and it was like, okay.
Can you not see it's all going to start with Rose. They're going to beat the piss out of the Jets week 1. Whoever the hell they play weeks 2 and 3, could you not see them losing weeks 2 and 3? And DK only has like 1 catch. He starts throwing shit at Rodgers. Rodgers starts throwing shit at him in these post-game interviews, and they rattle off 6 straight losses. Could you not see that as a possibility?
1,000%.
Yeah, it's
1,000%.
You have loudmouths, or in Rodgers' case, a piece of shit. DK, who's not a piece of shit, but he will let you know if he's pissed off. He will publicly let you know that. And Tomlin is a coach that will let you know if he's pissed off as well. I just don't see all that meshing personally.
I don't.
And I love it. I
do think if there was going to be anybody that would tell Rodgers to fuck off,
Mike Tomlin.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah. I think Rodgers is, what's so weird? He is an old school guy, but he has the new talent mentality like we were speaking about. He is not the Tom Brady where Belichick and Bill O'Brien and everybody else, they would get into, it would look like a husband and wife screaming at each other on the sidelines. Yeah. And then what would they do? Him and Josh McDaniels, they would win the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers is like, has a mentality of an athlete that is 22 years old, not 42 years old. And if you start yelling at him, you'll start crying like a bitch. That's usually what he does. So I don't know how he's going to handle Mike Tomlin doing that. But Tomlin will absolutely do that.
And I don't know if Rodgers will react to it well, like you said. But Tomlin will not let him do his shit. Like Tomlin will be like, no.
Does not give a fuck how much money the owners give him. If he sucks, he will say, have fun, Mason Rudolph is starting next week. Sit your ass on the bench, see you later. 100%. He does not care.
No, doesn't at all. Other than that, not a ton of... Well, earlier today, speaking of the Packers, they released Jair Alexander, the Pro Bowl cornerback.
Former All-Pro safety.
Yeah. I know he's a little bit older, but...
He's not that old, though.
No, he's not horrifically old, but he's been in the league for a while. But he's a all-pro top corner in the league. They just released him.
Very bizarre.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Ramsey's also on the market. A lot of good corners available right now.
Yeah, and look at Alexander's been banged up here or there, so that can come into play and that can do it. But
he wanted a new deal as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, but a kind of a little bit of a shock there as well. But other than that, not a ton of news in the NFL front. Just OTAs are going on, so we can see, what's really going on.
Diggs has not missed a session since his famous boat incident as well.
Sure did. It's almost like the coach called him and said, "Hey, get your ass up here."
Hey, shout out to him. One thing about Stephon Diggs, whatever he does he is a fucking hard ass worker. That's
his work ethic has never been questioned.
He's doing cuts like prime Julian Edelman right now on the field 6 months after tearing his ACL, by the way. Unbelievable.
I think there's a chance he's ready week 1.
I would put my money that he starts. He might not play 100% of the snaps week 1, but he will play good enough to change the game in week 1. I would say.
Yeah. And this just came in yesterday, late last night, but 4-time Pro Bowl running back Nick Chubb.
Yep.
Texans.
And that
expected to sign with the Houston Texans for a year.
Yep, and that something that came in this right before we started recording is that he did pass his physical, so that deal will be happening.
Yeah.
Because he is coming off that nasty knee injury.
Oh boy.
One of the nasty. I think it was on Thursday night or Monday night. It was a primetime game, just nasty.
Gross.
Glad to see he's back though.
That's good. Honestly, in my opinion, I know obviously Derrick Henry, great.
Alien.
Saquon, great. Nick Chubb, man.
Bowling ball.
My God. Like that's my type of runner. That's my type of runner.
Him next to Joe Mixon, that could be scary if Chubb is the old Chubb.
Yeah, if Chubb's the old Chubb and you have Mixon be the kind of cut fast guy and Chubb's like, I'm just going to run through you, dude.
I'm just going to knock you the fuck out.
Yeah, and I think still, even with him missing last year, and that was his second major knee injury in his career.
Did he not come back for the last couple weeks? Like in
I don't think he did.
A sparing role? I thought he did.
Did he?
I think in like he did not play, get 30 carries a game like he usually does, but I think just to get the feel back, he had a couple carries in the last few games.
I think in the modern era,
you can come
in
back
the modern era, he has the most yards per carry in the history of the NFL.
Sounds about right. He was the only thing about the damn Browns offense.
Yeah, just an incredible play. Hopefully he's only 29 too. I know running backs don't play horrifically.
Once you see that 3, you get nervous.
Yes, but he's only 29, and he's an animal.
And he's also a guy that doesn't rely on his athleticism and speed. So he is, again, not Derrick Henry, but he's the same mold where you can get into your 32, 33 age and still be effective.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not a Ezekiel Elliott who relies on cuts and acceleration, which is why he's garbage now. And what is he? He's only like 31, Zeke, I think.
Yeah. I liked him when he was on the Pats.
He was actually okay. I think we were also just so awful. He seemed better than.
Yeah, that's probably true. Well. That's probably true. Rumor has it that Daniel Jones might beat out Anthony Richardson for the starting quarterback job for Indy.
And he got hurt again. He re-injured the shoulder as well.
Yeah. So that'd be something.
Take them out of any consideration for winning anything as well.
Yeah. I mean, Richardson is yikes.
He's the type of quarterback I like to watch, though.
No, yeah, of course. He's got a cannon, he can run, but he makes some plays where you're like, do you have a brain?
Yeah, I don't know if that's there mentally. No.
Like, what's going on in here? That's really what I care about. But all right. Obviously, as the summer continues, we will be talking a lot of pro football. But those are kind of the quick hits right there. Daniel Jones potentially going to be the starter for the Colts. I think Shedeur Sanders is kind of lining up to be the starting quarterback for the Browns, which I think is the right move for them. I think he should be.
It's dumb shit as the Browns do, like signing a piece of garbage to a $300 million contract like they did 3 years ago, and then trading your whole first-round picks for him as well. Them reading the board that Shedeur's not going to get taken in the first 3, 4, 5 rounds, drafting him, still getting him, and knowing he's a starting caliber quarterback potential, that was great draft. And the haul I got for Hunter at number 2 as well. Yeah, their regime is finally looking like they're starting to know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. And one last thing in the NFL, because it was kind of out of nowhere. The Detroit Lions, they're all pro center Frank Ragnow, who many consider to be the best center in all of football, at the age of 29.
In a position that you can play till 38, 39.
Yes, you can. Yeah. And only 7 years in the league, retired out of nowhere last Wednesday.
Yeah, that was really shocking.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I mean, we I feel like more now than before, we do see people retire younger sometimes.
Patrick Willis retired, I think, at 29 is like the clear best linebacker in the NFL.
Yeah. But this Kuechly, nowhere. And really, when you look at it, the Detroit Lions, their bread and butter is that offensive line, man.
That nastiness. And he was the definition of that.
He was the centerpiece. He was the guy that ran the ship. And now they're going into this season. They lost both their coordinators. And Aaron Glenn is now the head coach of the Jets, and Ben Johnson is now the head coach of the Bears. So Dan Campbell's got 2 new coordinators he has to deal with, and he has 3 new starters on that offensive line. Really, Penei Sewell is really the only guy, the only star now that Ragnow retired that they have left on that line.
And the guy they were going to promote to DC is now our DC in Tyrell Williams. So.
Yes. So very interested to see how the Lions bounce back, because obviously it felt like last year was the year they were going to finally break through and at least make it to the Super Bowl, if not win it. But they got upset. Yeah. And Jaden Daniels had different ideas.
My God.
And, it was just another heartbreaking loss in the history of the Detroit Lions history.
In the year before, 2 years ago, they were up 21
they
to
should
3 on the
have made it
Niners
to the
and
Super
blew it.
Bowl. Yeah.
So as good as they have been, it's 2 very disappointing exits in a row for them.
Yeah, and now you lose all that talent on and off the field, like on the sideline and on the field. I'm very interested to see where Detroit lines up, because I think this is probably the most pressure that Dan Campbell's been under
easily
since those early years where he was kind of losing a lot and they just kind of stuck with him. I think he's under a lot of pressure now, because now the microscope's on him. You don't have Ben Johnson in that all-time offense and genius. You don't have the really great defensive guy running the ship, at least. And it's like, and now your bread and butter is your dual runners. Montgomery and Gibbs is as good a duo as you will find in the league. But if they only have one,
so they don't have the horses in front of them anymore.
Yeah. So I'm very interested to see how that goes for them, but we'll see when we get closer.
I think the NFC, again, you're going to have the Eagles at top. We'll do our previews, but the Eagles, they haven't lost much. Everybody's back for the most part. They're going to be number 1 on most people's boards to make it back to the Super Bowl. After them, it is a wide open class in the NFC.
Yeah, I agree.
Same with the AFC. The Chiefs aren't what they used to be. The Bills always come up short. And then we're going to be a little biased, but the Patriots have potential now.
Yeah. The Ravens will be there. They seem to always be there.
The Bengals will be there if they stay healthy.
I think the Texans showed a lot to me in that game against Kansas City in the playoffs. Stroud showed a lot to me. He was basically out there by himself. The Bengals get it together.
If their defense isn't the worst in the history of the league again, they'll be up there.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Because it was the worst ever last year, and now they're not going to bring back Hendrickson. So it seems like so.
And they fired their DC.
And he's their only friggin' good player. So
legitimately, their only good defensive player.
Cool. So we'll see how that goes. But
Patriots,
all right. Listen, there's going to be plenty of Patriot talk on this show.
And just let us get off to a 3 or 4-0 start. This podcast will be unlistenable.
Bro.
Don't want to listen to it.
Oh, God forbid. All right. Let's talk a little not top 4 sports here that which many consider.
In America, anyway.
We'll finish on your boys. I'll let you kind of gloat on our way out of here today. But did you watch this French Open tennis final yesterday between
I
Alcaraz and
the last
Sinner?
couple sets I did.
Holy
I didn't watch
shit.
The beginning, but yeah.
Holy shit.
There's 2 not huge tennis fans here, by the way. We still watched it and loved it.
I watch the majors. I usually watch the majors.
So do I as well. Yep. Same with golf. I watch the majors.
But yesterday, I was at home. I was doing some work. I was kind of gaming, grinding, but doing some actual work. And I was sitting here at the desk, and I had that match going from the start. I was able to, I think I tuned in, and it was in the first set, and Sinner was up like 4 games to something or whatever.
Yeah.
So that match went almost 5 hours.
It absolutely did. It felt like that.
And Alcaraz was down 2-0.
It was.
And he had never come back being down 2-0 in a final ever. And then Sinner had never won a match that went over 4 hours. So they had this whole trajectory. So at one point, Sinner had triple break point to go up like 5-2 in the 3rd set or the 4th set, which would have ended the match clearly because he would have won 3-1. And Alcaraz fought back, and he made it to like 3 or 4 deuces and won that game. And then all of a sudden, we're going to a 5th set. And then even in that 5th set, at one point, Sinner was up 5-3 in that 5th set. And Alcaraz came back and got it to 6-6 in the tiebreaker. And he ends up pulling through and winning.
And died on the court as well. He was cooked.
Oh, they were both dying. But that was an all-time final.
And the best part is, I think they're 22 and 23. So this could be another Federer Nadal situation.
Yeah.
So.
And you had the natural rivalry of Spain and Italy. There as well. And it was just like the crowd was awesome. Like the crowd was rooting for Alcaraz, but there were a lot of it was just the vibe was good.
Nothing was bad about it. It was beautiful.
Oh man, it was wonderful. And there was some great tennis. There was some great tennis. So I wanted to give them a shout out because that shit was fun.
Terrific.
And then there was the UEFA Nations final yesterday. It was Spain as well in the final of that one. I know Alcaraz is Spanish, so they were trying to pull the double dip for Spain in big victories yesterday. But
A 40-year-old man had a different plan.
He didn't get to
For
finish
that.
the game, though. He didn't get to finish the
Game
game.
tying goal.
Yep. But it was tied at 2
It was.
after regulation, and it
Yep.
stayed tied at 2 through the extra time,
Did.
and it went to PKs. And Portugal, your boys, your
Well,
home nation.
Portuguese for everybody that doesn't know that.
Yes.
Which I don't know why anybody would know that.
Your home country, or where you're.
Both my parents and grandparents were born in Portugal.
There you go.
I was born.
They won. They are the UEFA Nations champions. So I will let you have the floor here. I'm sure you were having a good time yesterday. I'm sure you were having a good time.
There's really not much other than I sobbed probably as if you thought one of my parents died in front of me. But it was great. As someone that is weirdly not the biggest Ronaldo fan, the last few years, obviously he's my favorite player ever, but I haven't wanted him in the team since I would say the 2018 World Cup. Just he doesn't really fit what we want to do, but you got to give him credit. At 40 years old, scoring, he scored in the quarterfinal, the semifinal, and the final. So I mean, you got to get.
Look at he's an all-time guy. He's an all-time guy.
He's 40 years old. You can't expect him to be what he was, one of the best players of all time.
Yeah, and I know you're probably biased.
I think Messi's the greatest ever.
You think Messi, and what do you have Ronaldo too?
I have Ronaldo too, but I also think Ronaldo is the most clutch player ever and the best goal scorer ever. But I think Messi is the best footballer ever, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
It's almost like Tom Brady is obviously the best quarterback of all time, but he's certainly not the best athlete or any of those things, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. It's Ronaldo's third international trophy, and he's gonna have one more chance at the big one next year, which is on me and JPJ's home turf here in America. I will be following Portugal to every game, don't care where it is, and it's great momentum to have going into that tournament, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm hoping that Gillette up here gets one of the U.S. games. That would be fun.
Yeah. I would say they do have games, but they don't.
I know they have games, but I wonder what group.
Players haven't finished yet, so I assume that's why they haven't.
Yeah, and then I feel like it'll be groups that stay there, right? It'll be like, all right, you're getting Group D.
Yeah,
group whatever.
But it's also the biggest World Cup ever. There'll be 48 teams instead of 32, and a certain. Let's just say this. There will be. Well, we don't want to.
Everybody gets a fucking trophy.
But we don't want to get into non-sports items or wrestling items on this show. But I will just say this: because of the expansion, there is a certain country that America does not like off the field. That is 1 point, which means they only have to win or draw any of their last qualifier games to qualify, and it is going to be a big security issue. Let's just say that, if you can imagine what country I'm talking about.
Russia?
No, much worse.
North Korea.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump will love it.
And there has been. I'm more into the soccer world than you are, obviously, but there's been like real reporters, like not like I would say a soccer Schefter or Rappaport.
Yeah, like the insiders, like the real dudes. Yeah.
That is saying they know on good authority Trump is going to give the okay for Kim Jong-un to come to the games.
100%. He's going to fucking wine and dine them, bro.
So I'm hoping Portugal does not or USA does not get grouped with them, because those games will probably be impossible to go to, honestly. So
yeah, what a time that'll be.
Can't wait for that rant next year.
Oh, baby.
Leading up to that.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. But yes, no, the World Cup is happening in North America next year. So Canada, Mexico, and USA all getting games.
Portugal, I would like them to group them in or schedule the games in regions where that populate, like have the Latin teams playing Florida, have Portugal and stuff playing like the North. There's a lot of Portuguese people that don't know this in Massachusetts area.
Huge.
So I would like them to like schedule the Portugal and the Brazil games up north and something.
Now,
like that.
do you think? And I know obviously it's not the same, but like, so what do you think? Like the South American teams will be in Mexico? Like, do you think they'll kind of?
They should. I mean, I don't know obviously, but I think they should do South American teams in like Miami and then the Mexico, and then just kind of have the teams where, like
who's going to Canada?
Like North Korea should. They don't have a problem with Canada, and there's no North Korean population in America or Mexico. Yeah. So send like the Asian teams maybe to Canada, the African teams you know what I mean? Like just mix those up, is what I would do. And I hope they do that, because that would make the most sense. Having Portuguese games in Gillette, I would love that personally.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
But yeah,
that'd be fun.
So,
all right, rock and roll, dude.
Oh yeah.
All right. I think.
We have a special guest here.
Yeah, there he is. He's like, I thought you guys were ending soon.
He's the star of the show. We're just kind of here whenever he's not.
Yeah, I mean he's a star of this house, dude. He runs the show, dude. Look at him. He's just looking at me disgusted. He's like, "What are you doing?" Yeah. All right. Great. All right, Lou. Thanks. All right. I think anything else you wanted? I know we kind of look. This is what we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna jump around.
Especially during the summer.
House of Pain. We're gonna jump around though. That's what we're gonna do. So, but I think we kind of, we got the NFL hot and heavy. Baseball's hitting those dog days of summer soon.
Yep.
And obviously we got the finals and all that.
You have some good baseball news now, however, though. So there you go. You got some stuff.
I can't believe that happened in real time. I can't believe that happened.
That's why you need to watch. You never know what's going to happen on this.
Yeah,
show.
We were sitting here bitching about why Roman Anthony wasn't in the major leagues for 15 minutes, and then they were like, "Wait a minute, these two guys, let's go. We're calling them up."
They did it for us, actually. I think Breslow has. This shows Craig Breslow watches this show.
Yeah, and he's on his way to Boston. He's playing tonight.
I'll be watching
tonight. If he hits a home run, I swear.
Again,
to God, I will lose.
This will already have happened, but this is why you need to watch the Hive live streams for JPJ's
real-life reactions. When he gets called, when he walks up to the plate the first time tonight at Fenway,
right?
Yeah, that place is gonna. They are. Put it this way: everyone is going to be acknowledging our tribal chief.
If I don't see 30,000 ones in there,
first of all, there better be. I don't care. Listen, I kind of want to just go to. I want to cancel on. I'm kidding, but I want to be like, hey, Josh, you can't make the watch along. I got to go to the Red Sox game.
I'm not kidding. Like if they played in Louisiana, which is where I'm at now. I'm obviously from Massachusetts, but if the Toronto Blue Jays played in New Orleans instead, I would 1,000% go to the game.
Yeah, but like I got to go to this game, and I would literally stand up and put the one up.
You have to.
I would just be in the crowd, just going like this. Listen, I know obviously wrestling fans aren't going to dominate Fenway Park. But if the Roman stuff, if there is not a tribal, like that is...
He should come out he should have that as his walk-up.
Yes, he should. He should have Roman Reigns' music as his walk-up.
They shouldn't even give him the option. They should just be like, we're picking you. I don't give a shit what song
you can pick your second, third at bat. That's all you, babe. Your first at bat, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, correct.
And everybody that hears it should, sorry, Lou, if you should stand up and you put the ones up. Because that's what we're doing. And then if you don't,
you see everybody else doing it, you join in with them.
Our tribal chief has arrived.
I'm happy for him.
I'm giddy.
We play you in the 2 series from now, I believe, too.
Hell yeah. Well, you're going to be dealing with Roman Anthony whipping your ass is what you're going to be doing.
That's fine.
Rookie of the year. Anyway.
Breslow was punching the wall.
He was. He's like, son of a bitch.
Do I have to call him up?
He's like, I don't want to. But anyway. All right. That's going to be it for us. We are going to get out of here. We will be back here on Friday morning, Australian time, Thursday evening, in the United States for our wrestling version of the Swarm, where we'll be talking about Money in the Bank. We'll be talking about, dude, that Worlds Collide show. We got to talk about that, dude.
Mr. Iguana will be a
Mr. Iguana. I need him on Raw tonight, baby.
And then there's some little world title match tonight. We don't care. We care about Mr. Iguana.
There's a world title match tonight. There's King and Queen of the Ring qualifying matches tonight. It feels like tonight could be a best Raw of the Year candidate type of Raw. With the announcements we've heard. Nikki Bella making her return
is our
tonight.
best friend now as well. By the way.
100%. We were
close friends of us.
Yeah, we made it. We did.
Close friends.
Bless.
Just wait till Roman Anthony reposts your reaction and get called up in real time.
Bro, if I knew how to clip things better and wasn't a shithead, I would clip it immediately. But all right, we are going to get out of here. CJ, if you got anything else to plug your stuff, my man.
No, really not much going on. Just follow the Hive everywhere, the Hive_media on all your favorite platforms, Apple and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts as well. And this will air before then. Friday night for SmackDown. Again, it's a wrestling thing, but Josh is having a massive 10-hour charity marathon. So even if you're not a wrestling fan, he will do non-wrestling things. And I'm sure if you want to donate, he will talk about anything you want sports related. Me and JPJ will either be on a stream or in the chat. We'll be involved somehow. Mm-hmm. But yeah, always follow the Hive and watch these shows because you never know what could happen reaction wise.
Yeah. You can follow me right here at JPJ Loves Gaming. That's where you can see all my stuff. Obviously, I got the Love Wrestling stuff. Thursdays, 8 p.m. Pluggo and me, Between Two Beards, the flagship, Firmly Inc. in the Thursday mornings. After Dynamite every Wednesday over on bodyslam.net, me and our pal Jose on the air, Jose Gonzalez, we do Dynamite Up, the post show over on Body Slam as well. And you can follow me, like I said, right here. I do have a Twitch where hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll get back to streaming some more video games more
Big
often.
college football game coming out. So
big
you would
college
be
football
streaming
game
that
coming
probably
out.
daily, if I had to guess. If you could.
Oh, yes, we will. Oh, yes, we will. That comes out July 10th, and then a month later we got Madden coming out. MLB
we
The
might even have
Show
to
is hot
have
and heavy.
a CJ versus JPJ game or a Dynasty or
ready.
something. We'll have
I'm
to
ready.
see what's going on.
Online Dynasty, I am all for. I am all for. I
That'll
think
be fun.
both those games, that and Madden, are going to be quite good this year. I think they're gonna really try to ball out. So we'll see. But just follow us at the Hive. Follow me and CJ individually. You'll get all our updates and all our fun stuff like that. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate all of you. And until we see you later on this week, hope you're happy. Hope you're safe. Be well. And CJ and I will see you later. Peace out.
See ya.